We continue our coverage of the indictment of Mayor Adams' longtime ally and former top aide, Ingrid Lewis-Martin. She has pleaded not guilty to new bribery and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors allege she accepted more than $75,000 in bribes. Here's a closer look at some of the charges. Lewis-Martin allegedly received $50,000 in exchange for fast-tracking permit approvals for migrant shelters. She also allegedly helped kill a street redesign project on McGinnis Boulevard in Brooklyn in exchange for personal benefits, including a speaking role on a television show. And in two more indictments, Lewis-Martin is charged with fast-tracking development projects in exchange for home renovations and obtaining approval for residential renovations in exchange for food catering. She and her son both pleaded not guilty to the charges. Lewis-Martin resigned from the administration in December last year when she was indicted on separate charges. She now faces a total of 5 indictments totaling $175,000 in bribes. The mayor's team making it clear that he is not implicated in this case, in these charges. He has nothing to do with it. And for a closer look at these new charges, let's bring in criminal defense attorney and a friend to NY1, Jeremy Saland. Always good to talk to you. Really do appreciate it. So again, these 4 counts of conspiracy, 4 counts of bribe receiving. Let's start there. How serious are these charges? What are we looking at in terms of penalties? How daunting is this case for Ingrid Lewis-Martin?
I think it's very significant because these are what we call NA or non-arrest indictments, while there's one that's already pending. So it's pretty significant, and it's all fits into this common scheme, whether it involves the same players or not, that she's that centerpiece that things are coming out of. And we all know that you hold the public, public servants, whether elected or otherwise, to a higher standard, and that's why they're challenged often in a court of law if they're accused of wrongdoing. So she's facing theoretically, as a first-time offender, no incarceration if convicted, but up to 2 1/3 to 7 years on Class D felonies, which there are multiple on this indictment or multiple indictments. So theoretically, even consecutive. Whether that happens, we don't know. She's innocent until proven guilty, and if proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but it's significant, Rocco.
Yeah, and Jeremy, in terms of the potential evidence that prosecutors have in order to prove these charges in court, what are some of the things you think that they might have? Or let's start, how difficult is it to prove these types of charges, these allegations?
Well, it's concerning. It's concerning if you're on her team, meaning her defense. If there is someone who might be cooperating, if there might be text messages or direct messages or other recordings demonstrating, that she was getting these monies for a benefit. Certainly, if it was going into her personal accounts, that's dangerous too. So all of this doesn't point favorably to her, but we as the public have yet to see all the discovery or any of the discovery in these new charges, but that's going to be shared at some point as well. But it is daunting because, again, I think that the people in the public sphere are looked to be above board and really holding our trust and fiduciary responsibilities to us really dear to them. And if they violate that trust, you expect the full force of the law, maybe even more so, or often more so, than if the same misconduct allegedly happened in the private sector.
In a statement, Lewis-Martin's attorney says that she was merely helping fellow citizens navigate the city's outdated and often overwhelming bureaucracy. We are long away from a trial, assuming it goes to trial, but what potential defense, that might be a hint there. Is that something that they can use as a defense?
Yeah, she was doing her job. She was advocating and helping the public. She was pursuing what she was placed by Mayor Adams in that position to do. But the proof is really in the details here. And is she getting money she's not entitled to? Is she using her position to benefit someone else to her own benefit? Why was she receiving any money whatsoever? There's going to be a lot of questions, and a New York jury is not a naive jury. This is not their first rodeo in life, and it's certainly not their first rodeo in hearing of these types of allegations. It's going to be undoubtedly an uphill battle. Again, not guilty until proven beyond a reasonable doubt. But the fact that the district attorney's office brought multiple indictments and did it with pre-arrest shows you they're not being reactive, but they're being very proactive.
Very interesting. And Jeremy, you may have heard an appeals court has thrown out the massive civil fraud penalty against President Donald Trump. He was facing more than $500 million in fines for engaging in fraud by padding financial statements at the Trump organization. Were you surprised at this at all? What does this mean now moving forward? Is he off the hook for this?
Well, I mean, it's a significant slapdown for the attorney general. I don't know how you really look at it any other way, but with the asterisk, The court did say, in terms of the decision, that it was merited, meaning that it wasn't an unlawful or improper decision to prosecute, and the result is still there, meaning the finding of responsibility. It was really more centered on the actual fine amount in
Yeah.
violation of the Eighth Amendment, which was an excessive punishment and fining. There was some splits among the justices about the merits of this. There was one judge who said it shouldn't have been prosecuted at all from a civil standpoint. But it really is a rebuke of Tish James, and the fine itself, or at least for now, is not existent. But I would expect both parties are going to appeal their piece of this, that they were not satisfied.
Yeah, for sure. Jeremy Saland, great to talk to you. We always appreciate your insight. Thank you again.
My pleasure.